Oh, welcome into I guess this isn't the DRF. I'm used to doing this with the DRF college sports podcast, but instead it's just a live stream today. We welcome in Max Sacco. He's one of our DRF sports writers, newly acquired. Acquired's not the right word, but we're going to roll with it.
I'll take it. I sound like a free agent signing.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big time free agent signing. Got him off the it was one of our targets. We acquired him. But been writing NHL, some soccer stuff, and now with UCL semifinals here, things are really ratcheting up over there in Europe with everything going on with UEFA. So we thought it might be worthy to have him come on, talk a little. First up, we're going to Real Madrid and Man City, and then we'll talk a little Liverpool and Villarreal. A lot of exciting stuff. But if you want to give a little bit of background to yourself, where people can find you, where people can follow you, all of that good stuff, the floor is yours.
Sure. So my name is Max Sacco. I'm a new writer here on DRF. Call it the free agent signing. Cover a lot of soccer. Hopefully, now that we're writing here, get some cash, get some new soccer jerseys in the collection. Big fan. If anyone follows them, mystery kits, get a random soccer jersey from a random European team. Been rocking that. I've followed soccer for a large part of my life. I'm a huge fan of it, both men's and women's games. I watch a lot of Premier League, Bundesliga, and then in the summer, MLS, just to get some sort of soccer fix. And best way to put it. And then you can follow me on Twitter at Max_Sacco23 or Instagram if you want to see what my actual life is like at MPSacco23.
I love it. I'm a big Charlotte FC guy. I live in Charlotte, so I got to represent the local team that just started up here. Who's your go-to MLS team, and then who's your go-to overall team?
Go-to MLS team, Seattle Sounders, because in 2013, when my
great choice.
Thank you. When we were first getting into FIFA and playing like FIFA video games, we were doing career mode, and I hit random, and I got Seattle, and I've rocked with them since then. But overall favorite team, I'd have to say Arsenal. I think they've reclaimed their spot as my overall favorite team because I really like the way Unai Emery's turned this team around.
All right. I respect that. Big time. I was Sounders until I moved to Charlotte, and they got the team mainly because I'm a Seahawks fan, a diehard Seahawks fan. We won't talk about the offseason here for the Seahawks. This is all UCL, and we'll refocus in on that. So that's fantastic stuff. We're going to dive in now into Man City taking on Real Madrid. You see on the bottom lower third, Man City's favored -215, and a draw, according to the odds makers, more likely than a Real Madrid win. Give me your first impressions of this game. I mean, as a casual soccer fan who sometimes watches Champions League, I'm going to lean on you here, and I'm your audience, so you lead me where I need to go.
Well, I think this is a matchup of, at least at an overall standpoint, this is a matchup of past versus present. You have a soccer powerhouse that really emerged once, oil companies got involved, and it's, that modern dynasty versus a team like Real Madrid that has been dominant since they first came into existence in the early 1900s, late 1800s. So you have two very different sides of the soccer spectrum here, but nonetheless, two teams that really command the soccer world here. You have two teams that are top of their league, albeit Real Madrid with a 15-point advantage in La Liga and Spain. Mm-hmm. Man City barely float against Liverpool with just a 1-point difference. But it's, again, also a classic example of a very immovable object like Man City in the Champions League. They like to play a lot of soccer out the back. They like to just build up slowly, maybe get 1 or 2 goals and force to keep it away. Versus Real Madrid, who like to throw as much as they can at you at once with Karim Benzema, Vinicius Jr., Modric picking up the midfield. Maybe they pull in a couple subs as well to see what they have. So it's, do you bet more on the team that maybe they score once and then just play keep away, or the team that maybe the defense isn't there, but they can just outscore you?
So the total for this match is set at 2.5. Before we get into your pick for this game, you just mentioned it. If Man City probably scores first, they're going to bring the ball back. They're going to just play keep away, and they're going to kind of like a boa constrictor, just suck the life, or I guess not suck the life out of you, but just constrict the life out of you. So the total might go under if Man City scores first. But then if you have a situation where Real scores first, do you see this going over the total at 2.5? Is it really just who scores first? How are you playing total goals?
Who scores first? As tough as that is to bet, because it is that if Man City scores first, their Champions League style has been put it back. Yeah. Albeit we might see a slight adjustment. Man City have injuries this week. Kyle Walker and John Stones are both out of the lineup for City. Nonetheless, though, they do have injuries and they have backups they can call in, like Alexander Zinchenko, Nathan Ake, that they can shove right on defense and they can just plug in and go. There's no hold up there. So if Man City scores first, this game is staying under. Man City's going to score first, maybe one more at best. But Pep Guardiola likes to play it safe in the Champions League, not risk it. We saw that against Atletico Madrid with their high-flying offense. Joao Felix and Antoine Griezmann were kept off the board, and Luis Suarez in both legs of the tournament. It was a 1-0 away leg in Madrid and then a 0-0 tie in England to push Man City through. Now, if Madrid scores first, now we're looking at a potential shootout. Because Madrid, when they get going, they like to score in bunches. Karim Benzema's been hot. He's got goals in 4 of their last 5. So if City scores first, there's a bit of an argument to be made on the over here. Personally, though, just to throw my pick out there, I'm sitting with the under. I'm going to take the under here. It's City at home. They're playing in England. I think they score first, and it's just camp it out.
All right, I like it. So you have Man City winning this one as well. Do you have any goal scorer props that you're liking, that you're leaning towards? You wrote a lot about it, just to plug it, over at drfsports.com or drf.com/sports. The preview's live. So if you need to go and check out what Max had to say over there, it's live. It's plenty of information that you can get and really dive into. But for here, what are your goal scorer props? Who do you like to score? Anything like that?
It's just tough in a situation like this. In fact, what I actually prefer is the no goal scorer prop.
Okay.
I actually leaning to that a little bit this leg with Ederson and net for City. But if I had to give you somebody, I'm picking somebody from City, and I think I'm just going to go with Gabriel Jesus. He had 4 goals in their last game against Brentford. He's got the hottest boots right now. I think you plug him here. He can cut through the Madrid defense that's missing David Alaba now, their big marquee summer signing. So you take him out of the picture. I think he could probably sneak one in a 1-0 game.
What was Ederson's stat? You put it in the preview. Is it he's had a clean sheet in 5 of like his last 6 starts?
Ederson has had a clean sheet, including European competition, including the FA Cup. It's been 4 clean sheets in 5 of his last starts. And there's 1 non-clean sheet. He gave up a goal in the 90th minute to Brentford to make it 5-1. He just let in a softie, for lack of a better word. At that point, he went on autopilot and it just slipped in.
So, man, Real Madrid's attack is going to have a lot of a large mountain to climb. You could say Mount Everest is in front of them now with Ederson in net. Do you think there's any way that Real Madrid's attack can cut through? Is there any value? Mainly what I'm getting at is Man City, you see on the lower third, they're minus 286 to advance to the UCL final. They have to go through both the legs first. They probably want to get a nice little first, maybe a 1-0 win here in the first leg and just boa constrict them in the second leg. But do you think there's any value whatsoever on Real Madrid at plus 600?
No. I think at that point you're just throwing money on Real Madrid plus 600. They have not won in Manchester City ever in their last 5 attempts. It's been 2 draws, 3 losses. Look for a draw, maybe. That 0-0 draw, 1-1 draw is definitely in the cards because if they score first, it's going to be a lot in the back. But I wouldn't touch the Madrid money line at all.
I love it. All right, so picking Man City here. A little preview for later on. You'll sense a through line here as we head to Liverpool against Villarreal. I'm just going to jump right into this one. I did more research on this one as I'm trying to find a way to rationalize picking Villarreal at plus 1050. They beat Atalanta in group stage, and then they've knocked out Bayern. And who else did they beat? Don't tell me. Juventus, to get to this spot. And now they're facing one of the best teams in the Premier League, one of the best teams in the world right now, it feels like, who's really healthy. Jurgen Klopp's done a really good job with, is there any reason should I even think about just sprinkling $5 on Villarreal here,
I could see where you'd want to sprinkle it. I see where you're coming from. Trust me, I see it. I see it. But you have to look at
that's thrown away. I should just light the $5 on fire, and it's essentially maybe I should wait till they go home to Villarreal. Maybe that's when I sprinkle a little bit. On the road at Liverpool, there's essentially no way that Villarreal is going to pull out a win here.
If you flip this, there's a story to be had. Then, all right, you know what? Maybe it's the home crowd.
Yeah.
They're the darlings of the tournament.
Yeah.
But here's a little stat that will probably make a lot of people
Oh
stray
God.
away.
All right.
Villarreal have not managed to win any of their last 8 games in England, and that's in all competitions. That's Champions League, Europa League,
Yikes.
anything. They are 3 draws, 5 losses, and that streak continued this year when they lost to Old Trafford in their Champions League group stage match. Here's a little trivia question for you. Who was the last team they beat when they came to England? It's related
I'm
to
gonna go
Liverpool.
with who's the last team they beat in England? I feel like it's some random low-level Premier League team like West Ham or something.
That's a good guess. You're in the ballpark. It was Everton, a 2-1 victory at Everton. That was back in August of 2005. So
Wow.
save your $5 for when they go back to Spain.
Okay.
Don't use it here if you're looking at Villarreal if they're coming to England.
All right, I love it. These two teams met before in 2016 in the Europa League semis, where Liverpool won 3-1 on aggregate. What do you think this is going to be a really loaded question that you have no way of really knowing. What do you think the aggregate score is going to be of this one? Like if I could bet an exact aggregate, which I don't think you can find at many books out there. I know you can't find it at DR Sportsbook. What's the score? What's the aggregate score?
5-1. 4-0 at Liverpool,
Okay.
1-1 draw in Villarreal.
I mean that tracks.
Liverpool's gonna run wild, and this is the matchup they want. Yes, they're hot right now, but this is the matchup they want. By the way, knock the total goals over. Knock the total.
Okay,
goals over.
that's where I was going. If you think Liverpool's gonna win, okay, it's going over.
Take that over.
All right, love that. So what are your goal scores in this one? Do you think Salah is the leading scorer? I think he has 8 through this year's Champions League so far. Roberto Firmino, hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correct. I'm not the best with names. He's scored 5 goals in 6 matches. He's doubtful for this game. I think he's the team's second leading scorer. Do you have any goal props that you're liking?
I like Salah, but you won't get a lot on that just because obviously it's expected at this point. I don't know because I'm like, I don't want to just give you an obvious goal scorer prop. And it's like, you put $5 down, you win 6 because, oh, he scored. Yeah, like, oh, I got my cash. I would say if you want to take a little bit of a push, if Roberto Firmino plays, just because his form hasn't been there all year, it's been a little shakier this season compared to the last. I would say put a prop on him. I think he's maybe a safe bet. If he scores, great. If not, if you want to bet on Mo Salah to score, bet on him to score first.
Okay, you get a little bit more juice there.
Yeah, if you want to maybe push it a little bit, maybe put it on him to go first. If you want to take it any time, I'd say Firmino. You put him in the lineup. He plays well against Spanish teams. I think that's maybe your best look.
All right, I like it. So what you're telling me is don't put any money on Villarreal. This is
Until
the underdog.
Until they go to Spain.
But even then, there's no way that they're going to upset Liverpool. It's going to be Liverpool's minus 670 to advance to the final. That's all but a lock, right?
Yeah, that's all but a lock. It would take the issue of me saying that, though, is everyone's like, oh, it's all but a lock. It's going to be Munich, Liverpool, and then Bayern Munich lost at home of all places. Like, so then I'm thinking like, oh, I said that before. But then you have to look at that Munich game. They sent out a weaker squad in the first leg in Villarreal, kind of dug themselves in a hole. And then Villarreal just does what City does. They scored first, and then they just kept it away for 90 minutes. And then whistle blew, and they're going to move on.
I had a question. Man, I lost what the question was. It was a great one, too. I can say that because now I don't remember it. What are your best bets for this round, for the semifinal first leg? It feels like I wouldn't call Liverpool and Man City winning. I mean, they are best bets if you're very certain in them, but I mean, it doesn't offer you a lot of juice, a lot of money, a lot of value. But what are your best bets if you could pick a few here?
I would say the first one would be if you want to bet on Liverpool first. If you're looking first at Liverpool, look at the over 3.5 total goals. Liverpool's going to run wild here. Villarreal can probably sneak one in. Typically Liverpool will give up a goal or two a game depending on the opponent. You're looking at that in their
Mhm.
last couple matches. They'll typically let one sneak by, even in their past leg. So I think you look at the over 3.5, push the envelope a little bit. Unlike City and Real, where we're saying take the under, go the over 3.5 here, push your luck a little bit per se. And if you're looking for a goal scorer, Mo Salah's your man. He's been hot all year. If you want to push it a little bit, maybe you risk it to go first. But
Ooh.
maybe you risk Mo Salah first goal score. But if you want to play it safe, Mo Salah is an anytime goal scorer that you can easily rely on. He's 3 goals away from tying the competition record for a player from a Premier League team.
All right, I like it. I remember what the question was. If
Yeah.
Villarreal wins, they win both legs, they win on aggregate, they make it to the UCL final, which I didn't even put down what their odds to make it to the final are. If Liverpool's minus 670, they've got to be some stupid high
Disgustingly high
odds.
number.
What can you put it in American sports fan terms? What would be the equivalent in me, a dumb American sports fan term? What type of upset is that?
St. Peter's goes to the Elite Eight. There's
Oh,
a very recent way to describe that to you.
Perfect.
This is St. Peter's making it to the Elite Eight. This is their Purdue game. Nobody's picking them to win, and somehow, some way,
somehow they're going to match up with 2 7-footers down low,
yes.
And those 2 7-footers are named Mo Salah and Roberto Firmino.
Yes,
and Doug Eater on Villarreal is who?
Oh man, I'm not even familiar with their lineup.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is, if we're being honest.
It's like St. Peter's. It's like they enter the tournament. Everyone's like, "Oh, haha, that guy's a mustache. Oh
Yeah.
my god, he's shooting lights out from around the arc." But
yeah, exactly.
I guess a better comparison, I can give you an easy coach. Unai Emery is like St. Peter's coach. He's been around the block. He was a former player. Maybe didn't get the most star power, but he was a local legend where he played. Now Unai Emery comes back to Spain, comes back to Villarreal where he played as a player. He's made the big move. This is his, comeback story. It's not that little side tangent attached to this too for the coach.
I love it. Last thing before we get out of here, you gave me your final pick before we got on the air. I put it down here. So down low is your UCL final pick. You said you haven't even thought ahead to who's winning it, but I'm forcing you now to pick it for me. Liverpool, Man City in the UCL final. Who do you have winning?
It goes to penalties. I'll tell you that much.
Because okay. A 0-0 penalty. A lot of drama. This is what I'm feeling.
I'm taking 2-2. I'm taking like a little 2-2 because they played each other in the FA Cup semifinal. The only difference was instead of Ederson starting for Manchester City, it was Zach Steffen. Zach Steffen hadn't played in a couple months. So when he played, he let up 3 goals in the opening 30 minutes. The UCL final, I love Zach Steffen. I love the men's national team. But Zach Steffen's not going to play the Champions League final unless Ederson gets injured. So expect Ederson to start. City and Liverpool will go back and forth. And frankly, it depends on who wins the league too. We'll have a Premier League winner, and it's going to be one of these 2 teams. So if the game goes to penalties, who wins penalties? I'll take Liverpool. I think Liverpool's been pretty good from the spot all year. I think Liverpool takes City in penalties. If you want me to go penalties, I think Liverpool converts 4 out of 5. City converts 3 out of 5 on penalties.
I love the in-depthness. I love this. It really, you're giving me penalty. How many conversions from the spot they're going to get? I love it.
One of my favorite flash bets to take is occasionally I'll see this, and specifically only in international games. If they go to penalties, some sports will allow you to bet on the penalty per penalty. Like you can bet on tennis per point during a shootout. You can bet miss, make, or post, and it adds a whole other element to the game. It adds a whole other element to the game when you got to bet that.
I love that. All right. Yeah, so that's you gave me the final. I'm looking over our outline. You gave me the final prediction. You gave me the winner prediction. You got Man City and Liverpool not only winning today and tomorrow, but you have them winning in the second leg, or I guess winning on aggregate, not necessarily winning in the second leg. But
Liverpool win, I think, both legs. I think City win one of the legs, but due to aggregate, they move on.
Yeah, awesome.
I think Liverpool get 2 wins. City get a win and a draw. It can still move through.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for jumping on this, Max. Love it. You can check out all of his written previews, NHL stuff as well over at drf.com/sports. Hopefully, we just handed out 6, 7 winners throughout, and our bankroll is looking nice after this one. Give me Mo Salah, first goal scorer in
All
Liverpool
right.
Villarreal.
All right. You're going to take, I
Thank
will, look, the bet I'm most confident on of all the bets I've thrown out there, under 2.5 for City versus Madrid. City gets first on a weaker Madrid defense, and after that, it's just burning clock.
I'm going to go over in the Liverpool game because life's too short to bet the unders. And with that, that's how we're going to finish this UCL semifinal preview. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in, and check out everything we have going on over at drf.com/sports.